And maybe we do have that ability, we've just lost the instinct to listen to it. Maybe. I just want to show you this grass here. You're able just to have a quick look here. This is called red grass. And red grass animals, a lot of animals will eat. This is highly nutritious, highly palatable. So animals who are grazers may have this as a species of preference. I don't know if you can see these little drops almost, but this is where it gets its name from, red grass. Diandra tramidia, I think it is, the Latin name. And that's how a lot of herbivores can cohabit together. If you think about the amount of species that we can see together, they don't all compete for the same food. There's many different species of grass, and unfortunately grass is not my strong point. There's a few species that I know. But if you actually got an expert in here and stood basically where we are now, they'd be able to tell you there's probably at least 5 or 10 species of grass just in this little area. And each grass either has a very high nutritional value or a low nutritional value or medium, depending on what state it's in, whether it's just a shoot or a fully grown piece of grass. But with there being many different species, different animals will utilize those different species and at different stages. And different parts of the grass too. So they're all not, even though it looks like they're all just eating grass, there's actually a very big selection going on there of which grasses to feed on. And that's how they can all cohabit in the same area. So the wildebeest and impala and zebra, and in other areas the hartebeest, the blesbok, different antelope, all being out on the open plain and eating different things. So it's this one here, the red grass. And because it is highly nutritious and very tasty, it is what we call a climax species. So it can only grow if there's a lot of nutrients in the soil. But it's a good sign that the feld is in good condition if you have the climax species. If you have what we call pioneer species, then it means that the area has been disturbed. The pioneer species don't need too much in the way of nutrients to survive, but once they take hold, they will grow, and once they die, they will release nutrients into the soil, and it'll get to the stage where there's enough nutrients in the soil for another species of grass to take over, and that's known as a subclimax species. Hey, I remembered the hole this time. Don't worry, I'll probably forget next time. Cross through the Milwaukee. It's very dry now. Sorry, little squirrel. Let's cross through there. like it. Oh, let's take a quick detour down towards Twin Downs. So the subclimax species, the same thing will happen. It'll grow, and then when it dies, it releases the nutrients. And that's, once there's enough nutrients, that's when you get the grasses and the trees that need a lot of nutrients. Hi Penny, good morning to you, great to hear from you. And apparently I think you're saying that it's official now that the crocodile seems to kill more people every year than hippos do. Now, if you remember, we did discuss this a little while ago, but I wasn't too sure if it's official. But I think you're saying it's official now. And the hippo has always been thought to kill more people every year than anything else, including crocodiles. And that's possibly because the remains are found. The hippo doesn't eat the person if it's killed it. Whereas the crocodile, there's not going to be much, if anything, left over. And maybe that's why, for so long, it's been believed that hippos kill more people every year than anything else. So thanks for that, Penny. But it does make sense. Because crocodiles would eat pretty much everything. They've got a very strong stomach. The stomach's like acid, battery acid. And allows them to digest every part of a body. Waterbuck. Okay, you're going to stay put. She usually runs off. And this female is still on her own. I'm pretty sure it's the same female. You can get around the other side so you can see her properly. Female waterbuck. doesn't look particularly pregnant. A lot of antelope, herding antelope will split away from the herd to go and give birth. It could be that she's just maybe lost a family, maybe she got separated and couldn't find them again. It's really difficult to say why she's on her own. Oh, I can't see it from this side. Hi Laurie, it's Laurie from Canada. Morning to you. Oh, big elephant tracks. And they did come through, and it was very wet. Now they're dried. You're able to see them there. Just to show them. But they should come out quite nicely. Is that okay there, or forward a bit? There? And I wonder, sorry Laurie, I'll get to your question in a second, but I wonder if you can actually see. Can you pick them up?
I know, isn't it? Oh, you can.
Can you? Oh, nice. I can put my finger there. What one you put there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is question time. 2 questions. See who is sharp enough to tell me what those tiny tracks were that I had my finger next to. I was trying to point out the back pad, the toes, and then the tiny little claw marks. So hopefully size comparison, have a think of what animal might have that size track. And then you've got the largest land mammal, the elephant. And the second question is, what direction was the elephant going in? Away from me or towards me? That one track that you saw. See who is the tracking experts out there. And Laurie, it's difficult to know. Ha! I wasn't quick enough, but I saw the culprit just running across the road. But let's see. We may be lucky enough to see it, but otherwise, let's see who is the first to get the answers right. We are lucky enough to see it. No, it's gone. There's another clue for you though. Laurie, you're wanting to know if it's a female crocodile and when will they have their young. And it's difficult to say. It's very difficult to tell female and male crocodiles apart, especially when they're basking in the sun like that. When they're showing behaviour, it may be a little bit easier. Males, especially if they're displaying. They'll be mature enough to have young Around 10, 12 to 15 years old, and it depends on the size of them, so it's roughly about 2.5, 3 meters in length they need to be before they can breed, and that's usually around 12, 15 years of age. And they're very caring mothers, actually. The mother will protect the nest from monitor lizards and other animals like jackals and other egg-eating animals. And once the baby crocs hatch out of the eggs, she'll then transport them using her mouth down to the river. There she is. Hey, beautiful. Why are you on your own, lady? Now you notice that thick fur underneath the neck of the waterbuck, very characteristic of the waterbuck, and very thick fur all over its body compared to a lot of other animals. You see one colour, there's no spots or stripes on the body. But one of the diagnostic features is the white circle around the rump that she's now displaying quite nicely for us. Hi Jody, and your guess is, I think, was that a serval for the track, the small track? And it's not a serval. The serval is a type of small cat that's got spots on it for anybody who's not too sure. But there goes the waterbuck. Not quite Jody, but good try. But you are along the right lines. So you've got it in the cat family. So you're seeing the back pad and the toes. So it is part of the carnivores. And part of the cat family. That may throw you guys. But serval will be about this sort of size. That's the size of a serval track. But this one was not much bigger than my thumbnail. Okay, so we're going to head down towards Shabam Road. Quick look down there. But keep your guesses coming in. So the first question was what the front track, or that small track is. And the second question, which direction was the elephant track heading in? Towards me or away from me? That's we're now standing with my foot next to it. We can make it easier. Toward from gun when you guys were sitting, so you can say towards you or away from you. Take me out the equation. Try and make it a little bit easier. Great white shark moving towards me. Who was that? A great white shark. It actually was. Who got it right though? Elizabeth. Morning to you, Elizabeth. Great white shark moving towards me. I like that. Whoa. Sure. Got a very strong animal smell coming down here. Can you smell it? Wow, that's very strong. Someone's been spraying. Suzanne, moving towards Gunda. Got a mixed bag. Mixed bag. Oh, and Suzanne's saying civet. And civet, good try, but still just a little bit too big. Civet's just probably about the same size as a serval actually. At this sort of size. Civets, the front track it tends to be round, the back track tends to be more oval. But you're still looking maybe about 4-5 centimeters for a civet track. This one was probably about 1.5 centimeters, maybe 2 centimeters. If that. Still same right order. And you are getting along the right lines. Civet not a true cat, so this is not a true cat. Give it a couple more minutes before I reveal the answer. I think I had a couple saying that the elephant track was coming towards Gunda. One person saying away, going towards me. And for those of you who are struggling to work it out, think about when you walk, the last thing that comes into contact is your toe. And Trina, you're the closest so far with my little track. It is a type of mongoose. And Carol's saying dwarf mongoose. Close, Carol. So we've got the mongoose. The dwarf mongoose, they live as a family and their tracks are slightly smaller than that. But you would find a lot more tracks with it. Oh, we've got a crested barbet in the road. Or we did have. Blew off. And Trina and Carol, I think you got it right with the elephant track though, moving towards me, I think you were saying. And that is where it was going. It's actually going away from the Gunda towards me. So if you think about the way you walk, the last thing that comes into contact with the ground is your toe. So as you walk, your toe is the last thing to leave, and that's exactly the same for any other animal walking. So where there's a slight indent or a slight scuff, then that's the toe, and it can help you with the hoof mammals, but also with the elephants. And there was a little scuff, so you had the nice round part of the back part of the track, and at the front it was slightly pointed, where the toe had sort of been pressed in slightly and then almost dragged a little bit, and that's where we got the scuff mark. So that's the thing to look out for. So the rounded part is the back of the track, and the pointed part or the scuff is at the front of the track. So that should give you the direction. So the elephant was walking towards Twin Downs. That's why we drove around Elephant School Road to see if we could try and locate where the elephant went. So the mongoose, Carol and Trina, the closest with the mongoose. There's in fact a slender mongoose on their own. They live on their own, they're solitary unless they're mating. Oh, hello cutie. It's busy looking at tracks on the road again. That's why you should have your eyes looking ahead of you, not on the road. Beneath your feet. Where did he go? Hi cutie. Nice to have seen you. Hi, Janet. Sorry, Connie. Trying to call you Janet. Connie. Good morning to you, Connie. I think I had a knock on my head. But Connie, and you know what? I thought I put My mammal was booking here, and I haven't, so I'll have to try and bring it on drive this afternoon. Thought I was one book short this morning. And the one that I need. But a genet is part of the cat order, sub-order. They all fall underneath carnivores. I can hear you. You're going to come out. I can park here. I saw the mongoose dart from the bush. Let's see if it's going to come out onto the road in front of us. Can you hear them? There we go. It's coming out. This is the dwarf mongoose. So curious. You can already see there's two there, and there's probably a few more. They can have quite large families. Oh, look at that. So the families can maybe get 15, 20, 25, even 30 sometimes. It's a very large colony of mongoose. See the two wrestling right at the back. I think this has definitely got to be one of my favourite pastimes, watching mongoose playing. See them trying to throw each other down to the ground. And again, any play in animals is important. And it does build up the skills they need later on in life. And it helps to build up those muscles so they can be much stronger and better at that skill. It does also strengthen the bonds, especially in a family animal. It does strengthen the bonds between the individuals. It's amazing how quickly they can get used to you being here. It really is amazing because they're so small. And they're quite curious and quite inquisitive. And some families are pretty quick to come back out onto the road to have a look at you. I don't know if you saw that, but there was one chasing off the dove. It was quite funny. Oh, they're really going for it now. Yeah, if I can, well, they've disappeared. If I can quickly show you the track here of what we were seeing. This is the slender mongoose, and this is about the right size. I'll put my thumb down. As I said, it was about 2 centimeters, 1.5 to 2 centimeters. So that's about the right size. You can see on here, this little bar here, about the right size, about 2 centimeters. Little mongoose, the dwarf mongoose, which is what we're seeing, much smaller. So I'd actually be able to put my thumb pretty much in the print altogether. And what we were seeing was this back pad and the toes, but because it was quite thick soil, the toes were just a little bit more elongated because it was registering in that thick soil, so that the foot would have gone down a bit further, and then they were slightly pointed because of the claws. So that's how it should look, but in thick soil you may get a little bit more registering. We didn't see this back bit really too well. So that's the dwarf mongoose there, and that was the slender mongoose. And as you can see, with these dwarf mongoose in front of us, there's a lot of dwarf mongoose, and they'd all be running around together. Same with banded mongoose as well. But the fact it was on its own and that size puts it as the slender mongoose, because it is a solitary animal. Well, let's leave these little ones to us. Enjoy their fun. So the genet, Connie, if I can put it into terms for you, the dwarf mongoose would probably be from about this point here to the body about there. It's quite a small animal. Genet, the body would be from here probably to about here. It's about the size of a cat. That's not including the tails on those animals, just the body length. So it's about about the same size as the cat for a genet. Very long tail. About the same length as his body. And then some. Quite a long pointed nose. A nocturnal animal. Genet stands probably about that high. Again, about the same height as a domestic cat. Maybe like Siamese. Something like that. Maybe something a little bit low to the ground. And it's part of the cat order, but it's not a true cat. Same as the mongoose, they're part of the cat order, but they're not a true cat. I'm trying the west. Oh, there's a kudu. Is that another kudu there? Oh, there's a couple of kudu there. Let's go for those kudu instead. And that loud call is from the crested francolin. We saw the family a little bit earlier on. And there was a leopard walking down here. I think we need to go back to quarantine and have a look around there. Try and sneak up on these two boys. That one started feeding again, so hopefully they'll stay put. Definitely one of my favourite antelopes, the kudu. There's a young male, probably about 2 years old, stood right on top of the mound. And a slightly older male underneath. See, the horns are just a little bit longer. Looks like he's using the termite mound as a vantage point. You might be able to see they don't have as long a fur as that of the waterbuck. They still have the hair underneath the neck. And as the males get older, that beautiful silver mane down the back. You see the red-billed oxpecker flying between the two. And they do eat a lot more body fluids than what was originally thought. They eat the mucus, the earwax, as well as blood from any wounds on the animals. There was a bit of a look between the two there. Looks like he has taken the higher ground, maybe for a reason. Although he does look much smaller than this male, and they wouldn't really be at that age where they'd be fighting for dominance at the moment, but probably have started. This particular species of antelope don't hold a territory. See if we can get a little bit closer. They seem to be quite relaxed. Oh, I just spooked you, mister. I wonder if they saw something. He looked over his shoulder and he looked that way before running off. Hmm? Oh, they also looked down the road. Okay. Well, they've gone into the bush. And hi, Vicky. Vicky, also from New Mexico. Good morning to you. And you say that the mongoose reminds you of a ferret, and are they related? Well, they're related as far as that they're both carnivores. That's pretty much as far as it goes. Mongoose are found in the cat order, the feliforms, and the ferrets are found in the dog order, the caniforms. It's actually suborders. So they're closer, the ferrets are closer related to dogs and bears, and the mongoose are closer related to cats. The ferrets are a type of mustelid, and that includes the weasels and the badgers. And it used to include the skunks up until a few years ago, I think. It changed. The skunks are now in a family on their own. The Filidae, I think, is the skunk family. The mustelids all have the anal glands, the smelly anal glands, except for the otter. The otter is also a mustelid, so maybe at some stage they'll split the otters up from the other members of that family. The wolverine in North America, also a mustelid. Largest mustelid in the family. And I think that's always the question. Is it mongai, mongooses, or just mongoose? I don't think I've ever found the technical name for it, a group. I think it is mongooses. Rather than mongai. Like cactus. Cactus is mongai. Cactus is cacti. And it's not mongooses. Or mongoose. That's not the plural. Plural is mongooses. Or maybe even just mongoose. a different Suzanne. This could be a different Suzanne. I'll say welcome anyway. Just in case it is. But does any other animal apart from cats and rhinos mark the territory? And do they mark it for anything other than... I did the same, Suzanne. Oh, welcome twice to you. Okay, Batelier. Are you seeing something? You're just scouting out the land. Flying too far over to see it on camera, unfortunately. But the whole purpose to hold a territory is for breeding. Oh, there's the baboons. Okay, I'm going to see if we can just drive a little bit closer here. It's usually for territorial purposes, for breeding, so that's why it'll be defended. Oh, and here is the rest of the family. Nice. And there is little baby. Evelyn, I think Graham's named it. And the wildebeest in the background. And antelope will mark territory during the breeding season, and outside the breeding season, that's when they tend to leave the territories again. Baboons, territorial, but again, that's for raising the family in. And animals can have a territory and then have a much wider home range, so the territory being defended at certain times of the year, and then they can move beyond that territory at other times of the year to go and find food. So lions is a funny one actually, because the males will hold on to a territory and that will be defended. The females will also have kind of a territory where they are, they'll defend that area, but their home range will be much larger. And that's why there's quite a bit of overlap, especially with the lions. We have quite a lot of overlap with the sticks and the Nkahuma pride especially, but other females do wander in and out of here sometimes. For the males, there's fairly strict territorial boundaries, and where the boundary is, there are disputes there. Same with the baboons. So it's to do with mostly breeding and raising the family for the actual group animals, and that's why it's defended. It's great to see the Gowrie gang, and they are looking a lot more relaxed than in the last couple of weeks, and even Elby looks to be a little bit more relaxed after losing her baby. And it did look like the family were giving her support. Should we maybe see if we can drive just a little bit closer? The other bits are coming this way a little bit too. Oh, we may be staying put. Just. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seeing 5 babies. Baby wildebeest. But not all animals will hold on to a territory. Elephants, giraffes, the kudu that we saw a little bit earlier don't hold on to a territory. They cover, especially the elephant and the giraffe, cover great distances. Little Huey there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we've got all 6. Wildebeest coming towards us now. As the baboons are playing. You see, he's actually using his hand to keep a hold of him, making sure that he's not falling. Even the youngest wildebeest has started to grow horns now. And there go the Gowrie gang, heading off into the bush behind us. This young wildebeest is not too short to make of us, I think. This is probably the closest that these wildebeest have come to us. They seem to be really not too fazed by us at all. Could be because the baboons also didn't really pay us too much attention. Oh, it's great to see how well these wildebeest are progressing now, and they've really grown in size over the last week or so. We haven't seen them too much this week. It does make you appreciate how fast they do grow when you don't see them. And even that tiny little one, who was behind all the rest, seems to have caught up quite rapidly in size. But thank you very much for joining us here on Wild Earth, and thank you very much for all the questions. It's been great fun this morning, and hopefully we'll have some luck with some more animals this afternoon and some more wonderful things from the African bush. But from myself, Tara, Herman behind the camera, and Sebastian back in front of control, I'll be saying goodbye from myself and the team. Take care everybody, we'll see you again soon.
Good morning, everyone. Sebastian here in Final Control. So, well, I hope you all did enjoy that game drive. It was great to see those mangroves, and I liked also Tara's and her questions. I'm gonna leave my chair now to CPUA, who's gonna be with you and checking the dam, the Gary Dam, and I'll be on drive this afternoon with Tara. So I hope you will join us again this afternoon. I hope you all have a nice day. Bye for now.